tips to give you is, first and foremost, don't be a time cop. So it's not about, setting that timer for 2 hours and then scolding your child and taking the device away. That this potentially has the possibility of backfiring on you and lead to less positive engagement with your child in online activities. So there was an example that I was reading online saying that her daughter found ways to kind of game the system with this. So spending those 2 hours on like junk media or non-educational media when her mom just wanted her to spend time on educational games. I also want to stress that autonomy, providing opportunities for autonomy is really important, especially for kids as they're turning into their teenage years, that being a time cop really limits those opportunities for autonomy, and instead it would be beneficial for parents to be media mentors or to model positive screen time and media consumption for your children. So maybe all together as a family, everyone putting their phones away, or openly as a family discussing when is a good time and when is not as good of a time to look at your phone or be online. Modeling this kind of behavior is really important. Another suggestion that I saw online was to use a program like Rescue Time to log your child's activity. And this isn't with the intention of being the time cop, but to together go through the results of this log and reflect on time spent on various types of media together. Maybe ask questions. Oh, I noticed that, last week you spent way more time on this type of activity than you did this week. Like, what was happening last time? It's also important to stay attentive to what your child is doing online and look out for red flags. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself. Is my child physically healthy and sleeping enough? So I know sleep is a huge concern, and that is one that parents need to take seriously. So if technology use is impeding sleep, that's a problem, and then that might be a cause for maybe a conversation starter for your child. Is my child connecting socially with family and friends in any form? So, it might be that the kid is glued to their phone, but then ignoring everyone else. And that might be problematic to some extent. And so maybe trying to figure out a little bit more about how is your child interacting online? Maybe your child is socializing a lot online with their friends. And so that's something to note as well. Is my child engaged with and achieving in school? So it's also very important. Is my child pursuing interests and hobbies in any form? So it might be that it's important to you as a parent for your child to have something that's outside of technology that the child engages in. Then, is my child having fun and learning in their use of digital technology? So does it mostly upsetting experiences that they're having, or are there kind of positive experiences that they're getting from the technology? So some more tips, develop routines regarding sleep and screens. So I know I mentioned before about taking kind of a family approach and saying, maybe all of us as a family, we're going to turn all our screens off 2 hours before we try to go to bed, or whatever that is that works for you, and to really enforce these routines. And then when in doubt, screen together. So earlier we had seen a lot of positive examples of technology, which is if they're conversation starters or allowing parents and children to interact together. Watch videos and TV together, play together, ask your child questions about the media he or she is consuming. And so, it can be anything like, oh, tell me, like, what makes this really cool? Why are you interested in this? Or how do you think this character feels after the other character did this? So, you know, think about the kinds of questions that you can ask. And I think one thing that I've heard a lot of parents talk about is sometimes they'll use screens as a way to give them, like, I just need 20 minutes to prepare dinner, or I need 20 minutes to do the dishes and clean up. And that's when my child can be on the iPad or screen. You know, it might just also be having your child kind of hang out with you. And even though you are cooking or doing the dishes, asking them like, oh, tell me about what's happening on that, you know, you can have a conversation that way too. You don't have to, you know, physically be watching the screen. And also being cognizant of background television. So, you know, for many kids, it's very distracting to have background television on. But even for some kids, it could be really beneficial. So make sure to pay attention to that.